Hello everyone and welcome to my bold and beautiful official update channel. Steffy makes a big change, Spencer fashion poaches Hope and Deke. The bold and the beautiful spoilers document that Steffy Forrester Finnegan is loyal to her family. So, Thomas Forrester's desire to suddenly return to the family business in Los Angeles, California, was all that was needed to make a change. Deke Spencer Harrison Cohn wasn't promised the lead designer position with hope for the future. But he was led to believe that Forrester Creations valued his designs and his humble presentation so much that he could expect a bright future there. Ridge Forrester Torsten K. offered mild resistance while Thomas was making his pitch, which was actually a declarative statement. But Steffy's co-chief executive officer didn't stop her from handling Hope Spencer Annika Noel, as she said she would. Summoning Hope Spencer via text message, Steffy agreed with Hope's praise of Deke, who is the poor soul in this whirlwind series of events. Wood's character said she believed Hope's brother was talented. Hope didn't anticipate her choice for lead designer to be an issue, especially after Deke's method of design entry was so well received. Steffy, on the other hand, transformed their transactional conversation. Deke is talented, but he won't play for FC in the future. Noel delivered another classic reaction shot to that piece of dialogue, with viewers knowing that the next conflict flashpoint can go well beyond Steffy and Hope having words. This drama plays out as the Forresters and some Logans versus the Spencers and other Logans. Bill Spencer stated that Katie Logan is not a Forrester. Bill Spencer's point led the way. He and his three-person family, which includes Katie Logan Spencer, Heather Tom and their son, Will Spencer, will never be favored at the fashion house that Eric Forrester John McCook founded with his late wife, Stephanie Forrester Susan Flannery. Specifically, Katie isn't a Forrester and won't gain sway there. When Eric recently made a comment about how garish Bill's shirts were, it was clear that both devoted viewers and newer fans laughed. Ridge enjoyed that joke, knowing that his nemesis had often referred to him as the dressmaker. Katie isn't disparaged by the Forresters, but she has been disregarded in recent weeks, as the company hired a crisis management team to handle the Luna Nozawa fallout. That plot point had Katie leaning toward accepting Bill's fabulous wedding gift, but Will closed the deal. He told his mom that worrying about how her sisters would react wasn't right. She agreed that they would back her choice, and at that moment, she became Spencer's new fashion venture's new head of operations under Bill. Staffing decisions must be made at Spencer Fashion. Katie must hire employees for her new business. She needs good people. So, like many have done before her in this version of LA, poaching will commence. Too many hints have been dropped. Viewers will anticipate Katie employing Hope and Deke. Whether she asks Eric to join her is another topic for a different soapy day. Steffy Forrester Finnegan's decision to make a decisive change at Forrester Creations is not merely a corporate maneuver, it is a reflection of her lifelong loyalty to her family name and the legacy it represents. As the daughter of Ridge Forrester and the granddaughter of Eric Forrester, Steffy has been shaped by the triumphs and betrayals that have long defined the Forrester dynasty. Steffy's protective instincts were immediately triggered when Thomas Forrester expressed his desire to return to the family business in Los Angeles, California. For Steffy, family always comes first, even when those choices strain relationships with others who feel just as invested in Forrester Creations. Her loyalty is not subtle, and when it is tested, she frequently acts boldly and without apologizing. Thomas's return was not framed as a polite request or a tentative inquiry, it was a declaration. He made it clear that he believed his rightful place was back at the design helm, reclaiming a position that once defined him. Torsten K's Ridge Forrester exhibited only mild resistance, indicating his internal conflict without challenging his son's assertion fully. Ridge's hesitation spoke volumes. While he understands the value of Hope Spencer's contributions and the promise of new talent, he is also deeply tethered to the idea of Thomas as the future of Forrester Creations. That silence gave Steffy the opening she needed. As co-chief executive officer, she did not wait for consensus, she acted. At the heart of this upheaval is Deke Spencer Harrison Cohn, a character caught in the crossfire of ambition, legacy, and corporate politics. Deke was never explicitly promised the lead designer position for Hope for the future, yet he was undeniably encouraged. The reception to his work was warm, even enthusiastic. The combination of his innovative designs and humble demeanor suggested that Forrester Creations valued him as more than just a temporary asset. He believed he had a future there, not because of entitlement, but because of the feedback he received. Deke's perception was that he was finally being seen, which is common in the fashion world, and especially in the Forrester universe. Annika Noel's Hope Spencer was a big part of that belief. She supported Deke out of genuine recognition of his talent, not out of nepotism or rebellion. Hope's journey at Forrester Creations has always been complicated by her last name. Though she is a Logan, she has worked tirelessly to carve out an identity defined by creativity, integrity, and perseverance. Hope for the future is more than a fashion line to her, it is her statement of independence within a company dominated by Forresters. Choosing Deke as her lead designer felt like a natural extension of that vision. When Steffy summoned Hope via text message, the moment carried an ominous weight. People who have watched soap operas for a long time are aware that such summonses rarely result in discussions that are calm and rational. Initially, Steffy agreed with Hope's praise of Deke, even acknowledging that Hope's brother was talented. That agreement disarmed Hope, lowering her defenses just enough for Steffy to pivot the conversation. What began as a transactional discussion about staffing and design philosophy quickly turned into a declaration of authority. Steffy made it clear that while Deke had talent, talent alone was not enough to secure a future at Forrester Creations. The line "Deke has talent, but he doesn't have a future" at FC landed with devastating precision. Annika Noel delivered a classic reaction shot, one that conveyed shock, disbelief, and the dawning realization that this was not merely a disagreement but the opening salvo in a larger war. Viewers immediately understood that this conflict would extend far beyond a simple argument between Steffy and Hope. The Forresters, Logans, and Spencers, a triad of families whose histories are intertwined with love, rivalry, and betrayal, saw their long-standing divisions rekindled. This is not just about fashion, it is about power. Steffy's decision effectively reasserts Forrester dominance within the company, reinforcing the idea that bloodlines matter more than innovation. While Hope believed she had earned autonomy through success and persistence, Steffy reminded her that ultimate authority still rests with the Forrester name. That reminder stings more deeply because it echoes past conflicts where Hope's contributions were overshadowed by family politics. Once again, Hope finds herself fighting not for recognition, but for relevance. Deke, meanwhile, is the collateral damage in this struggle. His position as the poor soul in this whirlwind of events underscores a recurring theme in The Bold and the Beautiful. Outsiders often pay the price for family feuds. Despite his talent and dedication, Deke lacks the surname that would shield him from sudden dismissal. His journey is similar to that of many others who came before him. These people had real promise, but their timing was tragically off from the priorities of those in power. The disappointment he faces is not just professional, it is deeply personal, as he must confront the reality that belief and encouragement do not always translate into opportunity. The broader implications of Steffy's move ripple outward, touching characters who may not seem directly involved at first glance. Katie Logan Spencer, for instance, has long existed on the periphery of Forrester power. Bill Spencer's observation that Katie and their family would never truly be favored at the fashion house rings truer than ever. Eric Forrester founded the company with his late wife, Stephanie Forrester, and that legacy continues to shape decisions. Katie, despite her intelligence and experience, will always be seen as an outsider within those walls. Moments of levity, such as Eric's recent joke about Bill's garish shirts, serve to highlight these divisions. Ridge's amusement at the jab reflects a long-standing rivalry that is both playful and deeply rooted. Bill Spencer has often mocked Ridge as a dressmaker, yet those insults mask a mutual awareness of their influence. The laughter is superficial, beneath it lies an understanding that the Spencer and Forrester empires will always clash, especially when it comes to fashion and control. Katie's recent disregard at Forrester Creations further reinforces her precarious position. Katie was left out of the decision to hire a crisis management team to deal with the Luna Nozawa incident, indicating that her opinion was not necessary in times of corporate crisis. That marginalization pushed her closer to Bill's world, culminating in her acceptance of his extravagant wedding gift. It was not just a romantic gesture, it was an invitation to step into a new realm of power. Will Spencer played a pivotal role in that transition. By reminding his mother that worrying about her sister's reactions was unnecessary, he empowered Katie to choose herself. That moment of affirmation was transformative. Katie's acceptance of the role as head of Spencer's new fashion venture marked a turning point, signaling her readiness to step out of Forrester's shadow and into her own authority. It also set the stage for the next inevitable move, staffing. Spencer Fashion, as a fledgling enterprise, needs talent, vision, and credibility. Katie understands that success will depend on assembling a team capable of competing with an established giant like Forrester Creations. In the world of Los Angeles fashion, poaching is not just common, it is expected. Viewers have been given too many hints to ignore the likely outcome. Hope and Deke are prime candidates, both bruised by their recent treatment and eager for a fresh start. An offer from Katie would represent more than new jobs, it would be a statement of defiance. For Hope, joining Spencer Fashion would validate her belief in creative independence. It would allow her to continue hope for the future or a reimagined version of it without Forrester interference. For Deke, it would be redemption, a chance to prove that his talent deserves a platform regardless of surname. Together, they could form the foundation of